Hello and good evening, guys. Happy Friday. It's been a little bit since I've been on. I had a show here, guys. I've been on vacation. I don't know if anybody saw that I was on the Tom's World the other day and talking about it a little bit. We went to Nashville, Tennessee, visited some battlefields and stuff down there like that, and had a really great time. Guys, tonight we in store for you, we have a show about domestic violence and the impact that it has on your family and the people that are your friends and family and all the people that are around you who witness, what you're going through. We're going to talk a little bit about that. We're also going to talk about some of the mass shootings and things like that that have been going on in the country and what some of that stuff means. And we're going to take a deeper look at that here tonight on Off the Cuff with Dustin Heisey. Stick around.
Ladies and gentlemen, may I please have your attention? The show starts in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
All right, guys. Hey, thanks a lot for joining me here today. Today's a really important show. This is really close to me here. We just had some folks who are close to me already know that my family had just recently, as a matter of fact, around 3:00 this morning, we had a very tragic thing happen, and I'm going to share a little bit about that with you here today. And we're going to talk about some resources and things that you can do. But more importantly, I also want to give you, the viewer, a voice. If you have a story about domestic violence, something that you've experienced, I'm going to post the link to the show in the comments section, and please feel free to click that link. Jump in here with me tonight on the show live and share your story, because what you have that could help somebody else who might be going through the same situation. So let's not waste the opportunity, and let's take that chance and let somebody hear your story. So let's jump right in here, guys. Hey, Lori, thanks so much for jumping in. I appreciate it. Gretchen, as always, it's good to see you. Hey, Mama Two Bucks, it's good to see you. Hey, Patricia, thanks for jumping in. Again, here, I'm going to go ahead right now. I'm going to post this link to the show right now. It's right here in the comments section. If you feel like you want to come in and you have something to talk about, please do. This is a very important show. So we're going to go ahead. As you see here, posted at the bottom of the show, I'm going to keep this up the entire show. We're going to stay away from all the branding and all that stuff today. We're going to stick to this. This is the National Domestic Violence Hotline. If you or anybody you know is experiencing domestic violence and you need somewhere to reach out to, call this number or text START to 88788, and somebody will be there to help you through the situation and hopefully, get you out of it. Because listen, guys, this is an epidemic in this country. This is something that is not being addressed. It's being swept under the rug, and women suffer through that. Men too. As you've seen just now with the Johnny Depp trial and what's been going on with that, you see that it's not just women that suffer these types of things, okay? But it is prevalently probably more women who deal with this than it is men. But again, I don't know. I can only tell you what experience I have with domestic violence and its unfortunate effects. And I see some folks are jumping in here. Thanks for jumping in. I appreciate it. Trisha, just hang on there. We'll pull you in a few seconds. Guys, real quick. Oh, hey, Farmer. It's good to see you. Hi, honey. Please, if you hadn't done it yet, please head over to BB3 TV on Facebook and like and follow us over there. There's tons of variety entertainment from paranormal to anything. There's a church service on Sunday. It's a great place to go. Tom's World, man. Tom talks about his gardening things that he does over there. It's good stuff. So please head over there to BB3 TV and like and follow us over there. Okay, so I'm going to start by telling you really quick what happened to my sister this morning. It's unbelievable. In fact, I still haven't even really gotten a chance to wrap my head around it. So what happened was my sister was at staying with my mother temporarily while she's transitioning out of this terrible relationship she's in with this gentleman. And while she was at my mother's place, how you doing, Thomas? while she was at my mother's place, um, he shows up from North Carolina out of the blue, completely unexpected, and gets somehow coerces my sister to get into his vehicle. And he's driving in an older blue pickup truck. Takes her out to the middle of a field over in the area of Nisley Vineyards, if anyone's familiar with our area, and drove out into the middle of a field out there, took her out of the truck and beat the living hell out of her. And if that wasn't enough, he then drove his truck over top of her and then proceeded to back up over her again, obviously with intent to kill my sister. And that happened at 3:00 this morning. So I feel that this is something, that's being swept under the rug. I think there's not enough attention being drawn to it. And I think, when something like this really happens close to you, hits you close to home, I mean, you really kind of start thinking about, wow, I mean, we're not paying attention to this. I certainly wasn't. We don't have this issue here in our home. We have a pretty happy home here. And, and if we ever do have a problem, we talk about it and there's civil discourse. So, it's easy to get locked in your little bubble, but my sister is now currently at Hershey Med in serious condition. She is okay, and she will survive this. Thank you, God. But this could have been a very different outcome. But the problem is my sister didn't utilize the things that she had available to her, like the National Domestic Hotline, or the matter of fact, here, I'm going to show you this right now. This is the National Coalition Against Domestic Violence. Okay, this website, it's ncadv.org. It is an excellent resource. Okay, anybody who is going through this, experiencing domestic violence, you have options. You have a way to get out of it. Okay, use these resources. They are invaluable. These are people who have experienced this stuff. And here, I'll tell you what, I'm going to pop this on here full screen really quick if I can do that. Tom, I'm not sure how the heck here, let's do this. And we're going to go over here. And I'm going to show you, if you just take a look, take action, the Take Action tab. You've got Speakers Bureau. You've got Disarm Domestic Violence. Take a stand for healthy teen relationships. A great place to start. There's legislation. You can look into what's going on. You can partner with them, volunteer. But there's things. You can also get help, personalized safety plan, tips for accessing resources, financial education, safety plans, and so on. Okay, so if you just take a look, there's conferences and you can become a member. This is an excellent resource. So take advantage of the things that you have available to you, and please, take a stand against domestic violence. And listen, if you're watching this and you know somebody who is experiencing domestic violence, do not just sit back and watch and know that something is going on and not do anything about it. Okay. Reach out somehow. I don't know. I want to get personal stories from people who have experienced it. So what we're going to do right now is I'm going to bring in my good friend, Tom. Tom is one of the co-owners of BB3 TV. And he's going to jump in the conversation, and we're going to bring Trisha in, and we'll hear some of her story. Hey, Tom, man, how's it going, my friend?
Oh, okay. I guess, my day off. So I'm happy about that. I am sad to hear about what happened to your sister, though, for you and your family and her. And I would severely hope she does everything in her power to stay away from him.
Right. Well, see, this is the problem. Okay. And look, people, when you're in love with somebody, okay, and people can vouch for me on this, it's very difficult to pull yourself away from somebody that you think you're madly in love with. Okay. Right. And you'll accept certain amount of you'll accept a certain amount of bad treatment. You'll allow certain things to happen to you because you think, you'll think inside that that it's okay, or maybe it's your fault. Maybe you're blaming yourself. These are things you want to get away from. You see what I'm saying? And Justine is one of these people who is a glutton for punishment. And she keeps going back and she's gotten herself into this situation. And it's not her fault that he did this to her, but it could have been avoided if she had taken certain steps.
And I understand it's hard to tear yourself away from someone that you love, but you got to understand when that line has been crossed, it's time to sever that tie and start getting over it, because there might be somebody else in the wings waiting that you've never even fathomed them being so sweet and so nice to you, that you won't even know what to do about it, but you'll be happy, and you can look back on that and say, man, what the hell was I thinking?
Yeah, absolutely.
So I've known plenty of people that plenty of females who I've known even as a teenager, they'd get the shit beat out of them by the dudes, and they'd go back to them. I have a friend of mine who used to live in Florida. Her she was being a little promiscuous, we'll say, like online with people, and her husband found out about it, and he beat the shit out of her. She had teeth missing, like,
oh, good God.
Things of her face were all blown out and everything, and then she went back to him. Now he has since passed away, thankfully, and she's moved back up here, and she's met somebody else, and as far as I know, she's happy. I haven't talked to her.
She's a survivor, and she's a survivor, and she's got a story to tell, and all right, so we're going to go ahead and we're going to bring Trisha into the stream. Hey, Trisha,
Hi.
how are you doing today?
I'm okay.
Welcome
I'm all
to
right.
the show.
In fact, I was just kind of channel surfing, and I saw you, and I saw what the subject was, and I thought, oh, well, I'll go ahead and jump in and talk about it. Yes, I am a survivor, but I also consider myself a victor too. It's not just going back. They have a way. And what happened is that even the strongest woman can fall into this. And I'll give you an example. His second wife led the county's domestic violence team. And that was his second wife.
Oh, my goodness.
So what happens is that it's a slow process, and they start to, and you don't know it's happening, and you love them. Yes, but they start to take you away from people. They start to move you over to their side and their family so eventually you don't even know that it happened. You are ostracized. You have stopped communicating with the people who can help you.
Yeah.
And you start becoming what they want you to be. But the problem is that you are never, ever good enough. And with some of these people, at least it was in my experience. And so if you're not good enough, then it starts. And then it messes with your head because you're thinking, it's my fault. Why am I not good enough? Why am I not performing like this? Why am I not better? And I remember so many times I would pray, God, please make me a better wife. Please make me a better person. I'm a horrible person. I'm a horrible wife. And here I was before, real strong and happy and so on. But this is what happened. And finally, after the divorce, what happened was I was sitting in the middle of the floor, and my friend came up. She goes, look, John, her husband, John has all the kids, including mine. John has all the kids, and whatever you want to do, doesn't matter how late at night, we'll do whatever you want to do. And I said, I don't know. Not after 8 years. It's been 8 years. I don't know. And she goes, okay, well, look, I'm going to clean the kitchen. You think about it. And she said, so she came back and she said, what do you want to do? And I said, I don't know. She goes, what do you like to do? And I went, I don't know. And she said she will never forget that because I lost myself completely. And yeah.
So what did you do then in this situation? What kind of things, action steps did you take to bring yourself out of this terrible place that he put you in?
Well, the other thing that was happening on the outside is that you have other people, and the other people were going, well, why couldn't you keep your marriage together? They were blaming me for the breakup because he was telling them, see, he had it all planned out, that I had a mental illness. So when I finally went to some people for help, they didn't help me because they thought that I was the problem and that he was the hero and that he was the victim. And this is what they do. The other horror, and what people need to understand is that they don't have to hit you, which he did, but they don't have to.
Well, abuse is mental, just as bad. I mean, if somebody's torturing you mentally, that could even be worse in some ways than physical. I mean,
I begged him to hit me one time.
They can literally drive you to want to kill yourself. I mean, there's people that experience that.
I was. And the thing is that one time I was so upset, I begged him to hit me so I'd have bruises and I could show people. And eventually he did. And he almost broke my arm. He broke his second wife's arm.
Jesus.
And she took him to court. I was too scared. And I was scared because I didn't know what he'd do with the kids. So I was protecting the children. I was protecting myself. I was protecting. And he was just out there. But the most dangerous, and this is said over and over again, the most dangerous time is when you leave. And they can never, ever know where you go to. Because I hope your sister, oh my God, I hope she recovers. You told me that story. I almost canceled out because that's just horrific.
A little too close to home. I mean, it
did.
For somebody like you that's experienced this, see, for me, I mean, I've never necessarily really, I know there's people watching this that might disagree with me, but I've never really experienced domestic violence. I had an incident once with an ex, but it was nothing terrible, so to speak.
Isolated
it was an isolated incident. I've got some scars to prove it, but it wasn't an ongoing thing. And I mean, it was like a mental abuse type of thing. But really, I consider myself to be a pretty strong person, and I was able to pretty much rise up and literally remove myself from the situation. And that's the thing that I really want people to take away from this entire show today, that there is a way out of it. Okay. You don't have to stay where you are. You need to get yourself out of that situation. Okay. Because there's nothing but darkness down that road.
Yeah. And I don't know where it came from, but I threw him out. And I don't know where it came from now. Yes. He threatened to kill me. He threatened to come back. He punched holes in walls, and it was scary. It was really scary. Of course. But with that said, and I don't know where it came from, I got it back. And so because of the children, I had to get them out of there. That's all there was to it. Unfortunately, in my case, he handsome, charming, wonderful, nice, loving. And so this is how he had presented himself to everybody. And then here I was, the evil ex-wife who's trying to take the kids away. So all of these things play into it that, and you don't know where you are in your head. You really don't. What saved me, I moved away for some reason. I mean, I'm telling you, God was with me. For some reason, I was able to move to Pennsylvania. I was in Hanover, went to nursing school there, but ended up slowly coming up and up and up. Now you have the children and Angie, who's the oldest, saw a lot of it. And she remembers it, which I feel really bad about, but it is what it is. What saved me, and I would really suggest this, I was one of the first people to participate in cognitive therapy outside of the military. And this was in the 1990s for PTSD. I was also, and I didn't think that this was a thing, but hypnosis, had no idea that was a thing. And so it took, gosh, about 4 years of therapy and family therapy and individual therapy and all of that. But people really have to, I think the first thing that somebody has to do, because there are ways now, and that is to go someplace, a safe place, and don't tell a soul, not even your best friend. They will go to them. They will go to whomever you know. And when you, and you got to get yourself settled. Don't even tell family members. Just pack up and go.
You got to take care of you. You got to get yourself right. So, Tricia, we got about 30 seconds here.
I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. Just really quick. What's your best advice for anybody who's watching this right now? What's your best advice for telling, direct them, get them out of the situation? You got about 20 seconds.
Make a plan. Don't tell a soul. Start making a plan. How are you going to leave? How are you going to make money? How are you going to get money? Just start making a plan. Don't tell anybody.
Right.
Not even a church person. Don't do it. But just really start making your exit plan.
Okay. That's great
and
advice.
Always remember, if somebody threatens to kill you, they've thought about it.
Absolutely.
Don't take it for granted. Oh, you didn't mean that. They have thought about it.
And my sister's a perfect example of this. I mean, she had even mentioned that, she was concerned that if he shows up, he might kill her. And he literally took a shot at it. So, Tricia, thank you so much for coming on the show tonight and sharing your story. I do sincerely appreciate it. I know that takes a lot of strength, and, sincerely, I appreciate it. And thank God you were able to pull through there. So thank you very much for coming on.
I'll pray for your sister.
Thank you very much.
Sorry about that. That makes me cry.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much. You take care.
All right. Bye-bye.
See ya.
Okay. So we're going to go ahead and bring our next guest on. She's a regular here at Off the Cuff, and she's one of my closest friends, and she's a long-time supporter of my show right from the beginning. You guys know her, Gretchen. Welcome, as always. How you doing?
I'm okay.
I know that you have gone through quite a bit of your own stuff, when it comes to domestic violence. Why don't you share a little bit about your story?
My personal story is, luckily I've never had the physical. Never had the physical. It was all mental, emotional, and you lose yourself. Patricia was right. Everything she said that she felt and went through and thought about herself, same thing. Same exact thing. Same words and everything. And my ex was a manipulative individual and would act a certain way and say specific things to get me to act a certain way, do certain things. And it's a mind fuck.
Yes, there's that. So I'm going to put this comment up here. This is unbelievable. I had two girlfriends killed by their husbands. One was shot in the head. The other was shot in the head, and then he cut her head off and stuck it under the bed. That is an extreme. That's beyond domestic abuse. Holy shit.
Wow.
I mean, that's a perfect example of somebody who had to have seen signs leading up to that, and didn't take the action steps. And look, a lot of people don't realize that these resources exist. There's a National Domestic Violence Hotline, ladies and gentlemen. There's a number down here at the bottom of the screen. If you or anybody you know is experiencing domestic violence, mental, physical, anything, please give them this phone number or dial that number. And if you don't want it, you can't get on the phone and talk, that's okay. You can text START to 88788. Okay. This is a great resource for you to get yourself out of the situation, guys. That's really what we need to do. We need to start coming together as a community and looking out for each other. We cannot depend on government. We can't depend on outside things. We have to depend on ourselves and our ability to want to survive. Okay. And we can come together as a community. There is excellent resources. Again, I'm going to go ahead and show this just really quick. Guys, the National Coalition Against Domestic Violence. It's an excellent, excellent resource. Go to that website, check it out. Okay. There's a lot of people on there. You can listen to their own voices, victims' voices. You are not alone. You are not going through this alone. So please, please use the resources available to you before it turns into getting your head cut off. So Gretchen, okay, so your ex was really, more of a mental abuser, right? But that takes its toll on you too. That sucks the life right out of you. You never know what you're coming home to. You don't know what you're about to walk into. And in a situation like that, they can manipulate you to think you're the most awful person on the face of the planet. And
he did.
So how did you get away from it? What did you do to get out of that situation? And what would your message be to anybody who's watching this?
I don't even know how I got out of it. I slowly grew a backbone. And every time I stood up to him, the more he didn't like it. And kind of with what Patricia said, I didn't tell anybody, but my out was we had a fight, and I called my sister on a Tuesday, and it was a Tuesday. I called my sister. I said, I need a truck. I called my mom. I said, I need a place to stay. And they're like, let's go. And Wednesday morning, I packed up my stuff and I was out.
Mm-hmm.
So good. 24 hours, had all my stuff. I was out. Luckily, he didn't come after me. He actually fell off the face of the earth.
It's the best thing.
Yeah. Probably. And you weren't feeding his ego anymore.
Right.
Correct.
He had to find somebody that would.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, I think gentlemen, men who treat their women the way they're meant to be treated, it's getting harder to find them. In this day and age, I mean, look what's going on in the world right now, just in our country alone. Children are being brought up by television screens and their iPhones and their Androids and their tablets and their laptops. Parents are not engaging with their children anymore. And what are they being raised on? Call of Duty. They think that when you shoot somebody, they're going to respawn or some crazy shit. Okay. And they don't, people don't realize that this is causing a serious epidemic in this country. And that's going to lead us into the next segment. But before we get there, Gretchen, just take a couple of seconds. I mean, if you have, any advice that you can give, give it. And maybe, anybody watching this right now can benefit from your experience.
Don't believe the voices in your head when you're alone.
That sounded a tad bit crazy.
Well,
no, I mean, as long as they're all your voices, then then you're good. If it's other people's voices, that's something different.
Yeah, I mean, it's really not a laughing matter. I understand where you're coming from. I do, I mean, because those voices have been implanted in your head through his manipulative actions, and so I understand exactly where you're coming from. So I don't want to make light of that, but it was sort of funny.
I get it.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks for coming on tonight and sharing your story with us. I appreciate it. And as always, I sincerely appreciate your support, always being here for me. So thank you much.
You're welcome.
All right. Stick around. All right. So my wife has a little bit she can talk about as somebody who really grew up in an environment where her father was a horrible person, to say the least. And I won't go into a lot of the detail. I'll let her do it. But, she experienced domestic violence and, mental abuse from, a multitude of different angles. And I'll give her an opportunity to come in here and share her story with you. How you doing, honey?
Doing good. This is
All right.
bringing up a lot of shit.
Well, you know, I imagine it would, and I imagine it would for anybody who's watching, because I mean, this is something that's very serious. It's something that most people from the outside looking in, look, I think people get really good at hiding their demons. I think they get really good at putting on a facade that when they walk out of the house, they're smiling and happy, and everybody thinks they're living a charmed life, when in reality, they're going through a living hell, probably thinking about killing themselves or him or somebody else. I mean, there's a lot going on. So, you know, that's why something like this really has to start becoming a public discussion. I think we really need to start bringing it. And I'm ashamed of myself that it took my sister going through this to bring it to my attention as even thinking about something that needs to be discussed. I'm ashamed of myself for that. So,
yeah, you usually don't see it until it hits close to home or until you see it with your own eyes. Other than that,
yeah.
It's what you see in movies. It's kind of a brush off.
Right. So it's entirely up to you how much you want to share. I know a lot of the story, but I'll let you pretty much share what you want to share.
Well, since so far everyone gave like a spouse, and I've done the significant other thing already, I'll show it from a child's perspective. The earliest age that I have, I can still remember walking around my house in diapers and watching my dad push my mom because of the food that she made. I remember later on in life, I was around 7, maybe 8 years old. Mom asked me to go downstairs and grab the laundry out of the dryer from the basement, no problem. She was either doing dishes or cooking. I forget which.
Mm-hmm.
But I remember it was a beautiful sunny day. Because I can remember not a cloud in the sky and the light shining in from the kitchen window. So I'm coming up the stairs and I hear this ruckus. Next thing I know, I'm watching my dad grab my mom push her down, grab her by her foot and drag her across the hardwood floor. Being 7 or 8 years old, normally kids, they blank out. They're staring like a deer in the headlights. You know my response time. I don't think before I act. I just did. I dropped the laundry. I freaking body checked him into the sink to the point where his shoulder hit the faucet and he ended up getting a bruise. But he let my mom go. And I was grateful for that. And in my head, nobody is touching my mother ever again. I don't care how old I am. I would rather take the beating from my mom any day of the week. Mm-hmm. And I would put myself into that situation just to keep my mom or my siblings safe, because he would really abuse my brothers. And I remember a conversation he had with me one day, and he said, "Do you know why I hate you?" And I said, "Because I stand up to you and I don't like how you treat my mother." And he said to me, and I'll never forget this, "Because you're not my son." And I said, "Thank God, because then I would have to carry on your name for the rest of my life." Well, a couple years later, he decided that he was going to try to hit my mom again. And I let him have it. I hit him with everything I got. He ended up going into the hospital. I snapped his dentures in half, almost broke his ankle, bruised up a couple of his ribs. The police came to the house. We told him exactly what happened. They sent me to my brother's house, leaving my mother defenseless. Time after time. And Patricia is right. These men are cunning. He weaseled his way out of so many things. My mom even had a PFA against him because in the state of Pennsylvania, a restraining order does not exist. And We've had state cops at the house. We had county cops at the house. Nobody would help us. Zero. Now, every once in a while, we would go to my mom's best friend's house and we would stay there, and he would weasel his way back into her heart. And I was 15. He decided he was going to pull me off the bed in a dead sleep, and I socked him in the face with freshly done nails and went back to sleep. Narcoleptic. So doing something like that, I'm not going to remember it. My brothers ended up holding him back. Okay, a couple years down the road, I'm about 15 years old. I watched him hit my mother again. And I hit him so hard in the face that it knocked him down. I said, Mom, we need to go. So me, my mom, and my younger sister, we got in the van, and he started flipping out. He was trying to rip the door off, and she was trying to drive away. And he laid in front of the van, trying to let the air out of her tires with his fingernail.
This is an instance where it was probably better to run the son of a bitch over.
I'm getting to that. Me being me, I'm saying run him the fuck over, Mom. We don't have to be afraid anymore. The younger sister in the back, she said, no, Mom, you'll go to jail. Then who will be there for us? So Mom threw that van into park, got out, and kicked him in the face. At the same time, my older brother and his previous spouse were driving down the road and witnessed the entire event. He got out of the car, picked up my dad like a rag doll underneath his arm, and threw him. Well, right before my 16th birthday, my mom finally filed for divorce. In retaliation, my grandmother, his mom, kicked us out of the house, sold the house to him for $1. And on my 16th birthday, my mom said, I have a gift for you. I said, okay. She's like, me and your brother John, we're going to take you. So next thing I know, we're going into Lancaster City. I don't like Lancaster City. Too many one-ways. So we get to the building. And I remember going in and saying hi to the receptionist. And I noticed the balloons on her desk that said, happy birthday. I said, oh, is today your birthday? She said, yes. I said, how funny. Today's my 16th birthday. And of course, we did the pleasantries. We get to the office, and her lawyer looked at me, and he said, you know why you're here? I said, no. Well, we're signing this blah, blah, blah. I said, wait, what? This is your mom's final divorce. She wants you to be her witness. I said, where do I sign? That to me was like the best sweet 16th gift that man ever gave me, by signing that paperwork on my birthday. And the only thing that I have to offer for ladies that, or even kids, call for a pizza. And the reason why I say this is because back then, domestic abuse and stuff was not taken seriously. Whereas today, if you fart wrong, it could be considered domestic abuse.
Then I'm suffering significant amount of spousal abuse.
Says the person who is very musical.
I don't want to talk about it. Leave it alone.
When
This
I
ain't
say
the place
call for a
for it.
pizza, seriously, call 911 on your phone. Say, how much for a pizza that can feed 2 people? Usually they'll say, do you know that you called the police? You say, yes. And they will ask you a series of questions. You answer them to the best of your ability, like you're ordering a pizza. They know the code. Or when you call a friend, call them and say, hey, I found your dog, Fido. And they'll respond the same way. Say, yeah, I know they're here at this address. And you go through the whole spiel. Or if you're pulled over by police, some women are so afraid to talk. There is a simple hand signal that they actually train. in the police academies now. It's this or one like this, and they will help you.
I've never heard of that, but that's interesting.
Yes. They have it circulating online. They have it on TikTok. They have it on Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
They have it everywhere. You just have to know when and where to look. It's kind of like when you're pregnant or you're expecting a family, you normally don't notice those ads, and then all of a sudden they pop up and you notice them a lot more,
Mm-hmm.
or a car accident. But kids, some of them do not understand what physical violence is. Some of them don't understand what mental violence is.
Well, they learn pretty quick when they're sitting at the age you were when you were watching your donor do this stuff to you guys. So you learn quickly.
Well, because my mom was a video store manager, she taught me the difference between reality and make believe, and what it's like to hit a person and what it's like to be on the receiving end, and seeing it firsthand when you're in so little, you kind of don't understand it. And then everything that your mom teaches you finally clicks into place. It's like, holy shit, this is actually happening.
Mm-hmm. So what's your for any women, take a few seconds here. Anybody who's watching, man, woman, child, whatever, what's your best advice for them?
It's not just physical and it's not just emotional. It could be social, because they can even do it in public and everybody shuts up. The only thing that I can say is I understand that you're afraid. I understand that you're afraid of retaliation and you think you're not good enough. Guess what? You are. Get off your ass and do something, because nobody's going to help you except for you. You don't have a reason to be afraid, to be safe. If not for you, for your kids. If not for your kids, then for the love of God, do something to help somebody else grow from this experience. Don't be just a survivor or a victor. Be a Valkyrie. Learn from it so you can help somebody else. Be somebody else's hero.
All right. Well, thanks for coming on, hon, talking about your story. I know sometimes that's really difficult to do, and I appreciate it. So
it is, but you know what? I remember it so I can learn from it and I can help teach others, because it kind of made me the person I am today. And I'm grateful for it.
Well, of course, it was a massive part of your childhood. I mean, and believe me, I know, because I know your story, how much you're actually leaving out. So, there's a lot more. We could literally make a whole show of it. But with a little bit of time left here, I got to get moving on. But thanks for talking about it.
Yeah, no problem.
All right, see you, babe. All right, crazy stuff, dude. I mean, it's amazing what happens when you give people a voice and they actually take the opportunity to speak.
Yeah, and then yet there's so many that won't speak right now, because they're still in that stage, like they were all talking about, where you think it's all you, that you're the problem, and you're not realizing that whether it be physical abuse, mental abuse, emotional abuse, that you have now had a psychosis forced upon you.
Mm-hmm.
One that you did not develop on your own, that was instilled in you to make you feel like you're the bad person. You're the reason why it happens. Like, if you would just do better or be better, then I wouldn't have to do this stuff to you. And they actually believe it, which in this day and age is, I can't even understand how somebody could believe that much bullshit coming from somebody.
I don't get it. I've never treated anybody that way. I just never could. It's not in my DNA. I always feel so guilty if I make somebody feel bad. I don't know. I feel bad. Like, I feel horrible. My phone's over here trying to talk. My phone apparently has something to say about this.
It's the ghost. Oh, did you get muted?
The ghost has disconnected my microphone again. But look, what happened to my sister today was tragic. Could have ended so much worse. Thank God she's still alive. I mean, he literally tried to kill my sister this morning, and that's a reality check. I mean, it really hits home. And unfortunately, it took something like that to bring it to the forefront. But now that it's here, this is something that I'm going to start doing more often. And we're going to start bringing attention to these types of things because it's incredibly important. It's time that we give these people a voice. They need to be heard. So, that's really, really a shame. So we're going to move on a little bit here. We're going to talk about what's going on around the country and
just to let you know real quick. When you brought your mic back, it sounds like you're talking into a different microphone, like it's further away. It's not as clear.
Do you know why?
No.
I'll tell you why. Yep. It shifted to.
It went to the webcam microphone?
No, it went to the Beats microphone.
Oh, now that's much better.
Yeah, see, it went to the Beats microphone as the default when it got connected.
Oh, all right. I didn't want to interrupt you at first, but I figured before you moved on, I should tell you.
I appreciate it. I'm glad you did because I like the show to sound good,
and it does.
I like you to hear the sultry, the beautifulness
soothing
of my
sound.
Of Heisey's voice. It's really not that good. It's really not that
mine's
good.
Not either. So that's all right.
Yeah. Oh, shut it, buddy. You have such a sensual voice. I love it.
Stop.
No, it's fabulous. But anyway, look. I mean, this is something we're going to do a lot more of. We're going to give a voice. So what I want to do is I want to talk about what's been going on. We've been having these crazy mass shootings, and it's just like for whatever reason, I don't know how this pans out statistically over a period of maybe like the last 5 years, but for some reason, and maybe it's just the way the media puts it out there, maybe it's the way that they're portraying it, but it's really on everywhere you look. There's a shooting every day happening.
There was one here on South
where?
Street, right in Philly on South Street, like just in the last week or so.
Isn't that like a normal thing in Philly, though?
Not necessarily on South Street.
No. Well, South Street's that really busy, like social area, right? South and 2nd Street and all that.
Like where you can go walk the streets. There's all kinds of stores, restaurants, bars.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't want to say it's high society. It's not, but it's a nicer part of that area.
Mm-hmm.
And there's usually not problems there.
Right. Well, James says, look, he honestly thinks it always does happen. It's just more publicized. Now, my question is this a political play? Is this what that's coming down to? I mean, because now you got Congress trying to, talk about gun legislation and common sense gun laws and things like that. Well, we're talking about something that the Constitution, Bill of Rights, it's the Second Amendment, okay, states specifically that it shall not be infringed. But I want to have a conversation about this as a Second Amendment supporter. Okay, I'm a veteran. I'm a gun owner. Okay, here's the thing. I think Ozzy said it the best. Don't quote me exactly how he said it, but he's like, if guns kill people, then why not just send all of our guns overseas and let them do all the fighting for us and not put our soldiers in harm's way? See, it's not the guns that kill people. Guns don't do. Yes, they are a tool. Okay, but if somebody wants to kill you, they will find a way to do it. My sister was just run over multiple times by a pickup truck. Did the truck try to kill my sister, or did the jackass driving it?
Yep.
So what we have to address here is not necessarily hear me on this. It's not necessarily a gun issue. It is an ever-growing mental health issue. And what we need to do in this country, and this might upset some of my Republican friends, people on the right, and Second Amendment people in general. Yes, it says it shall not be infringed. Okay, but listen, can't we come to some kind of agreement that things are going down the wrong path? Okay, too many children are being shot. Too many kids are getting their hands on guns. Are there enough laws in place already that should just start being enforced? I mean, they're already in place. Why not just really enforce the laws that we have in place to just try to keep these things from happening? Secondly, I think in this country, in this day and age, okay, as a responsible gun owner myself, why can't we at least agree to mental health checks or something like that. You know, I don't think it's so unreasonable to make sure somebody is in a good mental state to own a firearm.
Right. And the problem with, I mean, I understand them wanting to regulate guns or you know, put whatever they're trying to do, the control over the guns. The only problem that I have with it is, while it's good in theory, that's only going to affect the people that legally get guns, not those who illegally get guns. They're still going to get whatever they want to get because it's out there. You know, it's on the well, you know, I don't want to call it a black market of sorts, but it kind of is. I mean, it's like off the sides, like you don't, you know, like guys have these stocked up. You know, like say the Sons of Anarchy, you know, the way they were, you know, they got in guns from another country and then they sold them to people on the streets and stuff like that. While that's fictional, I mean, it kind of does work that way. And bad people will still get guns if they want them, even if they ban all guns completely.
Yeah, and you know, Gretchen says it here. You know, Cain killed Abel with a rock. God blamed Cain, not the rock. Absolute truth. And Monica brings up a good point here too. Yeah. You know, they can 3D print guns at work. That's the truth. Look, the point of it is if somebody has intent, somebody clearly snapped and wants to take another human being's life, first of all, you've got to consider what it would take to actually go through that. Okay. What it would actually take to aim your firearm at a person and shoot them and take their life. You've got to be a sick son of a bitch, or have so much hate inside of you that morality, any sense of being a human being has left the building. You see, this is why I'm saying, okay, I think we're in a time where common sense, okay, should become a little bit more common. I am a huge supporter of the Second Amendment. I love sports shooting. And I don't agree with my friend James. He says assault rifles should be banned. I love sports shooting. I love going to the range and putting, 30 rounds down range as fast as I could possibly do it. It's fun. It's invigorating. It's in a controlled environment. And people who are responsible gun owners should not be punished for people that are not. So there's no reason to take any type of firearm from anybody. Okay. Why I should be able to, if I want to take a bazooka to the range in a controlled environment set up for that type of weapon because it's fun, I should be able to do that, but we've got to start keeping guns out of kids' hands. And how do we do that? I think step one, okay, if the person who that gun is registered to was used to kill somebody, and it was like let's say one of my kids came and got one of my firearms that was unsecured, and they loaded up on my ammo and they went and shot up a school, I should be punished as if it was me pulling the trigger because I enabled that situation to happen. So these types of things, I think, should start happening. All right, let's see here. Patricia says, I do not know if this has been mentioned anywhere in Uvalde. If a teen comes into a gun store and wants a military gun with military ammo with cash to buy, why did the salesperson suspect that was why did or didn't? If someone goes into a Home Depot and wants fertilizer and whatever is needed for a bomb, the police are called. That's true. Yeah, I mean, so I don't really know this. See, again, Patricia, I don't really know the full details of what happened in Uvalde. Unfortunately, because I've been working from 1 a.m. till 5 p.m., I haven't really had a lot of time to watch any of the news to really be brought up to speed on that stuff. But I don't know the circumstances on how that kid got the firearm. But again, taking guns away from people, guns as a firearm is an inanimate object. Okay, it takes a person behind it pulling the trigger. We got to stop blaming guns, okay? And we got to stop trying to infringe on a sacred right to keep and bear arms. I've talked to some Aussies about this. I talked to an Aussie who was there before they took the guns and after, and they seem to think that taking the guns worked. Maybe it would, but in this country,
they would have to get all the illegal guns too. I don't think they could find them. There's no way they could find them.
Do you know how many guns people would be, law-abiding citizens? Do you know how many guns would end up being buried in underground bunkers somewhere? I mean, people are not giving up their firearms in this country.
Right.
It's not happening. Hi, Kelly. It's good to see you. You jumped in here at the end of the show. You know what time my show goes on. But it's a tragic thing. Any loss of life is tragic. But I can show you a multitude of videos in cities where people just walk up to the back of people and shoot them in the head just to get their wallet. Are you going to tell me that's a gun issue? It's not a gun issue. It's a issue. It's a person issue. It's a mental issue. It's a poverty issue. Sometimes people are driven to do very desperate things. And I'm not making excuses. It's not acceptable. But we're living in a time where maybe we have to start considering, adding some things into the process, of what it takes. It shouldn't be quite as easy to be issued a firearm. But at the same token, if you have no reason, you've never broken any laws, or the laws you have broken are misdemeanors or stupid, whatever, you've never shown any, propensity towards like that type of violence, but look, again, I think it could be added in and tying it into, what the show was about, domestic violence. If you show any type of, history of being a violent person, you are a fighter all the time, you're fighting, you're going to be looking for a fight, and putting a firearm in somebody's hand makes them feel powerful, man. And you're going to give them that kind of power. You've got to be careful about doing that. So you've got to do a psychological evaluation on these people and go into their backgrounds. I don't think that's unreasonable. As a gun owner and a huge supporter of the Second Amendment, I don't think that's unreasonable. What do you think, bud?
I think that there are way too many people that like, if that process had been in play, would not have guns now, legally anyway.
Right.
Doesn't mean they wouldn't have them illegally, because like I said, that's still a problem, and it's everywhere. I mean, like, even I actually just went to do that to my hat, and I'm not wearing one because I was looking at you.
I'm so beautiful.
I know.
Gorgeous.
Stop. But I think that a lot of those people would not have guns now if this kind of thing was in process. Like, if they actually did a deep intellectual delve into the person and had professional therapists that were trained in how to spot, even if they're trying to hide it. And there's some cat yelling at you.
My cat is in heat, and she's been rubbing up on my legs. About ready to kick her out of the studio. No, she's a good cat. She's just fired up.
Yeah, well, they get that way.
Mm-hmm. But so James, I want to ask you a question. Can you please explain to me in detail what an assault rifle is? I'll wait. What is an assault rifle? See, I think this is one of the most ridiculous terms ever coined and applied to a rifle. There is no such thing as an assault rifle. The AR in assault rifle does not stand, or AR in the AR-15 does not stand for assault rifle.
Sorry, I was just laughing at Kelly.
What'd she say? I missed.
She said, Monica, this is a family show.
You can't be rubbing. Well, this might be a family show, but sometimes we go astray. You see, like I did that cat stray.
Yeah. Where's my soundboard when I need it?
Yeah. But no, look, assault rifle is no such thing. There's no such thing as an assault rifle.
And AR does not stand for assault rifle either.
It does not. It's actually, and I can't think of the name.
The name of the company.
It's the ARA. I forget the name of the company. But I actually had several AR-15s, and my gun never walked up. Mine.
Oh, there you go.
Walked out and shot anything except what I was standing behind it.
Monica knew what the AR was for.
Yeah, Armalite rifle. That's exactly right. Okay, so any low caliber 223 or 5.56 NATO with a high capacity and semi-auto. No. I mean, I could take an M1 Garand. It's a 30-06. It's got an 8-round clip. It's World War II rifle used against Nazi Germany and the Japanese. And people look at that, and I could fire 8 rounds, and they're big. 30-06 round is a slug. And I know for a fact I've put it through engine blocks, and I've put holes straight through trucks with my M1 Garand. But listen, James is talking about 8 rounds as opposed to 30. 8 rounds can do a whole hell of a lot of damage. That 30-06 could go through 6 people, where that 223 might be able to go through 1 or maybe 2. It's a huge difference, but it doesn't matter. The simple fact of the matter is that guns kill people, or don't go. Jesus, guns don't. Son of a bitch. Let's edit that out. No, guns don't kill people. People kill people.
There you go.
Okay, guns don't kill people. Ignorant, sick, psychopathic people kill people. Okay, we need to keep guns out of their hands. How do we do that? We have common sense gun laws. We do things like background checks a little deeper if we have to. Okay, and if you've shown any propensity towards any type of mental illness or any aggression or violence, get rid of them. You can't have guns. Sorry, dude. I apologize. Or you get a limited license. Maybe it depends. Like you have a limited license that maybe lets you go to a gun range under supervision, and you can shoot guns. You can enjoy the act of firing competitions and things like that. It's a lot of fun to do those things. But allowing you to go home with a firearm is a different story. You might lose your shit and shoot somebody. Yep. So there's things that can be done, things that we can accept as a progressive society in this nation. We need to start thinking about other things. I love the Second Amendment. I believe it should not be infringed. But I do think that there's a time and a place where we have to start thinking outside of the box a little bit and start holding the right people accountable for their actions, and stop blaming something like a gun, which is an inanimate object, an assault rifle or otherwise. No, AR, Patricia, AR does not stand for assault rifle. It stands for Armalite. And it has nothing to do with assault rifle. There's no such thing as an assault rifle. That doesn't exist.
Everybody's going to be Googling that,
Google the shit out of it.
Google
the shit out of it. Yeah.
Like, no way. I thought that stood for assault rifle.
Kelly, don't get me started on the First Amendment. That's a whole nother show, and we're not doing that on Paranormal Brew. Anywho, so guys, look, I hope you guys got some value out of this today. Again, take a look here at the bottom. It's been on the screen all day long. The National Domestic Violence Hotline. It's 800-799-7233, or text START to 88788 for those of you who are listening on Spotify. Please, please, please get yourself out of the situation. You do not have to stay in an abusive relationship. You take a stance, and hey, listen, if you're close or you're anywhere near York, Pennsylvania, or Lancaster County or whatever, give me a call and I will happily come and break somebody's legs. I'll do that for you because America. But because I do care, and I would love to see you take a stand for yourself and get yourself out of the situation, and I will do whatever I can and to help you out and do that. So again, guys, one more time, I'm going to show this website. We're going to make this baby full screen. Please, guys, if you are or you know somebody who is experiencing domestic violence, direct them to this website. Okay, it is ncadv.org, ncadv.org. Okay, it is the National Coalition Against Domestic Violence. All right, you can watch webinars, you can donate a phone, you can do things. Again, stay connected with people and get the help you need. There are so many resources on this website. Okay, you have a voice. Okay, don't let it be stifled anymore. look, you're a beautiful person inside and out. The world needs and loves you. And we want to keep you around. And we want to get rid of the schmucks, both women, men, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Okay, domestic violence is a thing both ways. All right.
Yep.
You got to get yourself out of the situation. So, guys, please, if you saw some value in this, like and share the video, please. Guys, get this out there. This is an important message. If you can please share this out to your page, direct your friends. If you know somebody, get them to the show. This is a resource. Please do that. That's why we're doing this, okay? We need to help people out, and this is the best way we can do it. If it's just a simple little click of a button, it's not hard to hit share. Gretchen, hit share. You don't do that. I don't know why, but start. Please, guys, share the stuff out there. Let's get the resources out there. Guys, thank you so much. Tom, thank you so much for joining me, buddy.
Oh, no problem.
As always, I appreciate it, guys. Head over to BB3TV on Facebook.com. Like and follow us over there. There's a ton of variety entertainment over there. There's paranormal stuff. There's a church service on Sundays. You got Tom's World, great show. Paranormal Brew, and there's so many more that have showed up. I can't even talk about them.
We've got new people showing up, new things happening. We're lining
gamers.
Up. Yeah, gamers are coming in. We're lining up to have a live concert on BB3 from our good friend it was our very first guest, Vitamin XP on Dom and Tom's World. He's going to be doing a live concert. We're bringing in a comedian, Rachel. She's going to be posting some pre-recorded stuff. Some of it's skits, some of it's going to be her stand-up. She's local to my area here. She's about a 20-minute drive from me. So I haven't seen any of her stand-up yet, but I should probably go look at her videos.
You should probably do that.
I'm just trusting because Dom knows this woman. They go back to high school. So and they've been in a lot of film production stuff together. So I'm sure she's very good at what she does. I just have to, make time and go look at them. Either that or wait till they show up on BB3.
Or just make sure that you put the explicit little thing up there on the screen. And
yeah, well, everything on BB3. I think we should make that our banner image, just the warning.
Do I even have that? I don't think I even have that.
I don't know. I can send it to you. I have.
You might want to send that to me because I have never put that on my show, and my wife kindly dropped the F-bomb during the show.
Well, that's all right. If you're on BB3, then you know how we do.
Show. Well, we're on a lot of platforms, and we're out there. So I like to try to keep it as fresh and clean as possible.
There you go.
Hey guys, thank you so much for joining. Anybody that would like to join in the back chats, I'll go ahead and post the link again. You can jump in and have a quick conversation with Tom and myself. We'll stick around for a few minutes and shoot the breeze with you. Come on in and chat. The link is in the comments section. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I appreciate you joining me next week. I'm going to talk about what I was going to talk about today instead of changing the show. I was going to talk about UFOs, disclosure, and why the government is now starting to talk about it. Kelly, the link is in the comments. If you can take a look, it's on BB3, Paranormal Brew. It's on Off the Cuff. It's on my personal page. It's all over the place.
So whichever Facebook you're watching it on, just look to the comments, and if you see a comment from that page, whether it be BB3 TV or Paranormal Brew or Off the Cuff, that's the link.
Yeah, just go get one of my pages, the link. I just posted it. It's there. I could go to Facebook and try to send you the link. But we're going to go ahead and call it a show, guys. Thank you so much. Thank you, guys. Head over to Off the Cuff with Dustin Heisey and like and follow me over there on Facebook. I don't have a YouTube channel anymore, guys. YouTube has banned me permanently. And no, I did not dispute it because why? They want to infringe on my rights to be able to speak my mind freely. F them. I don't have time for them. They can kiss my ass as far as I'm concerned. So, but guys, thanks so much for joining us. I appreciate you guys for hanging out and watching the show tonight. And then we'll see you next Friday at 8:00. We're going to get into some nitty gritty about some UFOs, guys. Thank you so much. God bless you. Love you to death. And, whoops, what am I doing here, Tom? I'm screwing this all up. Thanks for watching today, guys.